boys and girls. So this is my finished limner portrait. It's a picture of a real person showing little symbolic items in the picture that helps describe the person with their personality or their hobbies or even things from their life that help tell us about them. So you want to start out by just kind of drawing shapes for their body or for their upper body, depending on if you have the full length or not, and adding their clothing. It should be kind of fancy, so depending on who they are, whatever makes sense for them, fancy is better. And then draw in their details of their face. And I'm going to show you the guidelines on how to do a face just after this video. So you can just watch me do it super quickly. I erased a bunch of times, I redid things a bunch of times. Sometimes getting a face right can be tricky, so don't get discouraged. Plus, limners were not trained artists, so theirs were not super accurate either. So it kind of fits with the assignment. So here I'm adding in different details that kind of go along with this person's personality or facts that I learned about them, because I didn't do anybody that I know. I just did a historical figure, a person that is famous or something like that. It's totally open as long as you're drawing from a photograph. I know it says to have somebody sit down and have you draw them, but it's not always possible. So you could draw somebody from Google Images, or you could even take a picture of your mom or dad or sibling if you want to draw them. They don't have to be sitting. You can take a picture of them and then draw the picture. Once your picture is totally drawn, then you're going to finish coloring everything in. I ended up going back over mine with a skinny Sharpie and ultra fine point Sharpie just to make certain things stand out. Color in the background all the way from the bottom of the paper all the way up to the top. Do it nice and neatly using your best craftsmanship. When it's finished, it should look something like this, but in your own style with your own choices of objects, clothing, and your person and everything like that. So the background and everything is totally artist choice. Okay, so when you're doing a person's face, I'm just going to make it a lot bigger and fill up this whole paper so you can see it. You start with the oval, and then you can kind of adjust the oval after to fit the perfect shape that you want. I'm not going to be erasing this. I'm just going to draw all my lines so you can see them. You can always erase things and modify them as you go. So then, once you have your oval, you're going to divide it down the center and divide it in half that way. Now, that's how you keep things even on both sides of the face. Then you want to divide that in half. So I know a lot of times kids draw the eye line like up here, but that is too high. It actually goes pretty much directly across the center of the oval, and you'll see why in a minute. So this is where the eyes go. I'm just going to label it here. If you divide the line from the eyes distance down to the chin in half, you can kind of guess, just kind of look and see if it looks even. That's where the bottom of the nose goes. Okay, so you can just draw like a little line for the tip of the nose and then divide the distance between the nose line and the chin in half again. And that's where the mouth goes. Usually the bottom line of the mouth. So just give it like a little curved smile, and that's where I'll end up putting it after. The eyes are distant pretty much equally in each half of the face. Depends on the person too, but I usually draw like a little dot, and then I get this creepy kind of like a crash test dummy look. But this is the guide and how you're going to start doing your portrait. When you have the eyes done, then you can do the top half, divide this in half, and that's about where the hairline starts. So I'll just write hair. If the person has bangs, it may come down a little bit longer, so it really depends on the face or the person. If you draw the ears showing, it's usually just a little tiny bit, so just kind of like a curved line off to the side. It goes up a little bit and then back down, depending on how much of their ear you can see. But I usually do mine like this, and that's the ear, and it goes between the eyes and nose line. Sometimes it's not exactly the same on a person, but when you're doing the drawing, it'll look accurate. All right, so if the hair is here, what's up here? This is the top of their head. So if this is too tall, you can always kind of round it to make it look like the right kind of shape. Depending on how their hair is, things can be a little bit different. So you might want to round it and make it a little less pointy or something like that to make it look more accurate. So let's just say this is going to be a boy, then like the hairline might go just kind of straight across and then curve down. And you can add the textures and things at the top of their hair. I'll do kind of like a boy on this side so you guys can see. They have kind of spiky hair, but it depends on their ethnicity. It depends on their hairstyle. Okay, and then they don't usually have anything at the back, maybe just a couple little spikes. A girl might have bangs, more likely. So I like to just kind of draw it coming down here. If it's not from a side part, I mean from the middle part, maybe their hair starts on the side and kind of parts over here, but you guys can kind of fix that as you go. So I'm just gonna do that, have their hair come out next to the ear, curve out, and then don't forget the neck. The neck is about halfway between the chin and the outside line, and it curves inward. It goes in and then out again. Okay. All these curved lines for the collar, and then the shoulders. But this is a close-up. You're going to be doing yours a lot further away, but this just gives you a starting point. Then you can look at your photograph of the person for references. So depending on their eye shape and things like that. So I like to draw the iris. This isn't normally black. This is the colored part of the eye. And then try to kind of do the shape based on the lines and the shapes that you can see in their eye. Around their eye. Okay. And the outside of their nose. And then their mouth. Okay. I'll do that again so you can see the process one more time. So the eye, I like to do the big circle. Now if I was using pencil and I was doing this, I probably would outline it with Sharpie and then color in the pupil and color in the iris, the colored part of their eye, and then erase my pencil marks. Or erase my pencil marks before I colored. Sharpie, erase, color. So here I'm going to do the eye like this. Depending on the person and their style. Oh, I forgot an eyebrow. There we go. Boys usually have a little bit fuller eyebrows than girls. The side of the nose and the mouth. So you can then see kind of how I did that. Nose shapes are different. I'm going to attach a file with portraits, pictures that you guys can access in the slideshow. So I'm going to give you guys the link to the slideshow, and then you can take the link to the pictures of eye shapes and nose shapes and mouth shapes in case that also helps you. You can look at the picture, then look at the paper and see which one fits with your portrait. Okay. When you're done, you can also modify the jawline. So if they have a different kind of jawline that isn't a perfect circle, then you can kind of like modify it and then erase what you don't use. Okay. Hopefully this helps you guys out with your work. All right. All right, guys. Then you obviously want to erase the lines that go down the center. So you never want to have these lines going across staying in there. But let me do the H. Hair, eyes, ear, goes between the eyes and nose. Nose to chin. The mouth is halfway. So it's 1 and half is the nose, and half of that is the mouth. So you just divide the bottoms in half again, and in half again as you get closer to the bottom. All right, hope that helps. All right, guys, good luck.